Welcome, little dreamer, to tonight's bedtime adventure. Snuggle down beneath your blankets, close your eyes, and let your imagination carry you into a gentle story of patience, perseverance, and hope. This is the tale of the black sheep who said Baba. Once upon a time, in a quiet valley surrounded by rolling green hills, there lived a small black sheep. Unlike the other sheep in the meadow, whose wool was snowy white, this little sheep's fleece was dark as midnight. And because of that, some villagers would whisper that the black wool was strange or less beautiful than the soft white wool they were used to. But the black sheep never minded. He lived happily in his tiny cottage at the edge of the meadow. Every spring, when the sun grew warm, the grass sparkled with dew, he would shear his own wool and gather it into neat bundles. He would tie the bundles carefully with twine and carry them down the winding road toward the market in town. There, he would greet the townsfolk with his cheerful bow, and offer his wool to anyone who might want to make a warm coat, his scarf, or a blanket. In the past, people had bought his wool gladly. Though unusual, it was strong and warm, and many found it useful. But one year, something changed. When the black sheep arrived at the market that spring, carrying his bundles of wool on his back, the townsfolk shook their heads. "Oh no," one woman said, "black wool is far too plain. I prefer the white wool for my blankets. I have no use for that color," said another man, passing him by, and just like that, the black sheep's store was empty of customers. He returned home that evening with all of his wool still neatly bundled, stacked higher than before. Yet he did not give up. He told himself gently, "Perhaps tomorrow will be better." So the very next day, the little sheep carried his wool back to the market, his hooves clicking against the cobblestones. Again, he called out, "Bow, bow, warm wool for a sale, thick, soft, and strong." But again, no one came. Some laughed, some simply walked away, and by the end of the day, his bundles were untouched. Still, he did not quit. He told himself again, perhaps the next day will be better. Day after day, week after week, the same thing happened. The black sheep carried his wool to market. He stood proud, his voice kind and his smile hopeful. Yet no one wanted the black wool. And with each day that passed, the bundle grew heavier, his back more tired, and his heart a little sadder. At night, when he returned home, he would look at the growing pile of wool in the corner of his little cottage. He would sigh, "Is my wool truly so worthless? Should I stop trying?" But then he would remember the warmth his wool could bring, and he would whisper to himself, "No, I will keep going. Someone will need it one day." And so the little sheep kept trying. One bright morning, when the black sheep sat wearily at the market, thinking perhaps this might be the last time, a small boy came skipping along the cobblestones. The boy's cheeks were rosy, and his eyes sparkled with curiosity. He stopped right in front of the sheep and looked up at the tall bundles of wool. "Mr. Sheep," the boy asked politely, "is that wool for a sale?" The black sheep's ears perked up. "Bow, bow. Yes, little one, it is indeed. Would you like some?" The boy's eyes widened. "I must tell my mother and father at once." They have been searching everywhere for black wool. Before the sheep could say another word, the boy dashed off, his small feet pattering down the street. Soon, he returned with his parents by his side. They smiled warmly at the black sheep. "Good sir," the father said kindly, "we are from the next village. We have searched high and low for black wool. We needed to weave special clothes for our family, clothes that will last through many winters. Will you sell it to us?" The black sheep could hardly believe his ears. His heart leapt with joy. "Bow, bow. Yes, yes, of course. Please, take all that you need." The family looked at the great bundle stacked high and said, "We will buy all of it." At last, the black sheep's wool found a home. His hard work, his patience, his perseverance, all of it was rewarded in that one magical moment. He no longer felt stranger and wanted. He felt proud, for he had something rare and special, something worth waiting for. That evening, as the sun set behind the hills, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold, the black sheep walked home with a light heart. His cottage was empty of wool, but his heart was full of happiness. He whispered to himself, "Bah, bah, I did not give up. And because I did not give up, I found those who truly valued me." And so, the black sheep lived on, still sharing his wool each spring, still carrying it proudly to market, no matter what others said, for he had learned that perseverance brings rewards, and that being different is not a weakness, but a strength. And now, little dreamer, as your eyes grow heavy and your breath slows, remember the lesson of the black sheep. Never give up, even when the world seems not to notice. One day, your efforts will be recognized, and your uniqueness will shine. Good night, little dreamers. Sleep well, and may your dreams be soft and filled with hope.